Here's your starting lineup. Tony Stewart will start from the pole inside row 1 alongside Andy Michener. In the second row, Don Schilling and Dan Drinan. In row 3 on the inside, Kenny Irwin Jr. and Mike Bliss, your fast qualifier. Invert the fastest 6 qualifiers. Ronnie John Cox, Paige Jones occupy row 4. In the 5th row, Ted Hines and Chris Schultz. In row 6 on the inside, Jack Runyon and Kenneth Nichols. In the 7th row, inside Perry Ounce, outside Tice Carlson. Row 8, Jimmy Kite, the youngster from Georgia, and Michael Lang in car number 20. The 9th row, Chuck Leary, last year's Rookie of the Year, and Jeff Sands. In the 10th row, Mike Fedorchak and Mel Kenyon, the 7-time USAC national champion. Mike Mason, Keith Butler in row 11. In row 12 on the inside, Robbie Ott will start in row 12 by himself. Pace car off. The field now belongs to Tony Stewart. He's won 9 times in USAC midget competition this season. We should get the green flag this time by. The Mel Kenyon Classic is underway, Larry Rice, as they go right over your head. And it's Elliott. Make that Stewart out in front. Stewart leads the parade off the corner down the backstretch.
There's a picture-perfect start. Both those guys come off of the corners perfectly, led him past this line, and boy, look at this battle back there in the middle of the field.
Once again, we'll keep an eye on Mike Bliss in car number 9 because the $10,000 riding with him. And that was Paige Jones. That's Paige Jones in the other. That's the 91 car. Up there in about 5th position now. And there goes Paige to the inside of Irwin. Oh, and they get together. Hang on, Kenny. No, he stops against the outside wall. Do they all make it through? Yeah, they all safely make it by. But no, 2 other cars get tangled up after they got past the altercation.
Everybody tried to miss that, and everybody did miss the original accident up there. Kenny Irwin sliding up toward the outside wall. Everybody did a nice job missing, but they got back together.
Jeff Sands and Robbie Ott, the other 2 drivers that got involved to the lower left of your screen.
Green flag is out, Gary, as they come back around here. Tony Stewart leads them back into turn 1. That's Paige Jones then, back there at about 6th spot, 5th or 6th spot.
We're getting some information that Irwin is moving up from his back of the pack starting position. There's a look at Schilling in the black car getting tapped, it looked like, by Drinan in the white 3. Back to the front of the pack now. 2 laps complete. Stewart having won 9 times already this season, going for 10. And look at that pass right there. Drinan, hang on, Danny. Goes up to 3rd in a real slide job. That was the epitome of a slide job.
Boy, oh boy. Paige Jones and Don Schilling both did a nice job trying to miss him when he got sideways. Oh, look at Schilling. He gets sideways, getting into 3.
And Paige goes around. Here comes Bliss. Bliss is right behind Schilling. Once again, Bliss with the $10,000 in wins bonus money if he can win this race tonight. He's already set quick time and a track record in qualifying, but he had that fracas in the race of champions.
I think it's going to be very important, Gary, for a guy to save his tires. These guys, the drivers here, have to be careful not to use their tires up too much. That's the way Ted Hines won the first race here, the first 40 laps of the night before, by saving his tires and being fast the last 10 laps.
They have to start the race on the tire that they qualified on, right? It's interesting that they'll go to a harder compound for a longer 40-lap event, but yet we still had a track record.
Well, that just shows you how well hooked up Mike Bliss is on this racetrack. He didn't run a soft tire, and he was still extremely, extremely fast. But I think he's not going to be able to cowboy it. He's not going to be able to slide it around and use it up too much. He wants to make sure he's got plenty left for the last 10 laps.
Oh, hard into the wall. 2 or 3 other cars get tangled up behind him. A red car on his side. 2 more cars bang into it. The red flag out immediately. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars involved. The emergency crew there in a hurry. We will not venture a guess as to what the driver's identification is of the car that took the wild ride until we can get some information from USAC or get a closer shot.
All we can really tell you is it's a red car, that the first one. That's Chuck Leary, the 31 car, who's sitting there right beside it. He was one of the last cars to come into the fracas.
We're being told now it is Ted Hines in the 24 car, the Cliff Jacobs entry. And we have 17 cars still running. A big jump on the restart for Tony Stewart with a big lead on the restart. A good battle for second position as they slide over the track cam.
Andy Michener running in second spot. Danny Drinan in 3rd.
Larry, how slick is it as they run through that oil dry down there?
Well, it's a little bit slick. I mean, it's obviously not as good as running on the regular pavement, but they're all aware of it. They all enter with just a little bit of caution. So as we look at this battle here, we're going to as they run kind of down through it.
Well, you heard Stan Fox earlier say these are the two best midgeteers in the country. Perhaps the best on dirt's Page, the best on pavement is Bliss. They're on the pavement right now, and Page is out in front of Bliss. That's Page on the left side. On the right side is Mike Bliss.
That's right. And I still think that Mike Bliss is kind of biding his time. He's made one mistake here tonight. He doesn't want to make another because he's trouble. Danny Dryden pulls another one of those little slide jobs. He slides up in front of Michener and takes away second spot. And he's pulled out to a big lead in the second spot.
We have another yellow. Another yellow slows him down, and will that nullify that pass?
I think it probably will, yes. Into the infield. Oh, look at this. Is he going? He might be going.
They're going green, and he's on the hammer.
Well,
I'm not sure if that's going to stand or not.
I'm not sure how the officials will see that, but it didn't look too good from here.
Well, we'll see what happens, but right now at the front of the pack, a good battle. Not a real good restart jump for Tony Stewart. Michener, who's second in points, rides in second right now, and that is Dryden in his own creation, riding in third. Fourth is Paige Jones, and fifth now is Bliss. Bliss really is in an ideal spot right now because he's conservative with tires. A lot of race to go.
Oh, as he moves down to the bottom, just as you said that, he ran that whole corner clear on the bottom. Seemed to stick very, very well down there on the bottom. And
they touch wheels going into three.
Page decided to go in there a little bit on the low side, and Mike was already there. Could have been a disaster there.
Once again, now 9 laps complete. There is the battle for second position. That is Dryden in the white 3 car. He's almost tapped there on the rear bumper by Page. Page looks on the inside, and there goes Bliss to the high side. They're both working on the third spot. Look at Bliss on the high side. Back up, we have a new leader. As we were watching that battle back in the pack, Andy Michener goes around Stewart for the lead. Stewart drops to second. Third now is Dryden, in a great battle back there for fourth.
Man, there are 9 cars in a line, all in the same straightaway within a couple of car lengths, and all battling hard. There's action everywhere. There's passes at every portion of this first 9-car field.
They're not exactly drafting like you see in a Winston Cup race.
No, not exactly. And now that Michener's pulled out front, he and Stewart seem to be pulling away by 4 or 5 car lengths. As Dryden seems not to be able to keep up with those first 2 at this point.
So you think Dryden may be holding Page back? There goes Page to the inside. Can't hold it down there.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's very, very close. Very touchy for 2 guys to run like that. As we see Stewart, he's going to attempt another look on the inside. No, can't pull it off.
That's that Potter V6 running in second. There's a yellow, and another car against the wall. Outside the entrance to turn 2.
That's Don Schilling.
Don Schilling, who we saw was seriously injured at Winchester 3 years ago, took a sabbatical, actually retired from racing, and said, hey, once I stopped hurting, I missed it. So he built a race car and he's back in competition. Rice, you call the action because I can't hold my breath and talk at the same time. We've just gone back to racing. A new leader, Dan Dryden, is up in front. A great battle for second. At one time, we had all 5 of those guys right together in a bunch down the front straightaway. Now they start to go single file, and that is Bliss up there in third position. Bliss has gotten around Page, and that black car is beginning to fade. That's Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart went from second to 5th just almost immediately. It was a tremendous battle right there after that restart. Danny Dryden made a couple of slide jobs, pulled them off, and went right into the lead. Michener's been able to hold on to second, but I'll tell you what,
Michener just got tapped by Bliss.
And he got sideways trying to get in there. Bliss is up to third, Paige Jones in fourth, and Tony Stewart in 5th, and all 5 of those guys driving their hearts out.
Working on lap 17. There is a look at second, third, and fourth. Well, now you've got the top 5 right there. Your leader is Dan Dryden. We saw him win here a few weeks ago, picked up that new Indiana Western Express sponsorship, and he has the sponsorship now to complete the season. But a good battle directly behind him. Andy Michener in second. You saw him get sideways after he got tapped by Bliss. Bliss right on the rear bumper. Now remember, Bliss has $10,000 in wins bonus money if he can win this thing. It looks like Andy may be abusing that right rear just a bit.
But he's a little bit loose, and Bliss knows that, but Bliss is not going to sit there and wait on him for very long. If he does, and look at this. Dryden starts to slow up just a little bit. Michener catches up with him. Michener seems to take about 3 or 4 laps to get going, and Dryden gave him
they almost got together, and a ringside view of that was exactly what Bliss had. The hammer runs in third. He looks to the high side. Not exactly a place to pass on the high side.
Billings pulled. That was a really scary move. He tried to move into the outside. inside going into the corner. And I'll tell you what, there's just not much room up there. If they don't know you're there, they can put you in the fence very, very easily. He wisely backed out of it and gave him a little room.
A very narrow groove. 20 laps are now complete. 20 laps to go. Dryden continues to lead. You've got 4 white cars right there in a freight train. Then the black car is Stewart. And then Kenneth Nichols back there in 6th position. We can tell you Kenny Irwin was penalized for passing those cars before the start earlier. He was sent to the back of the pack.
Those first 6 cars are right together, very, very close. 3 or 4 car lengths maybe between the bunch of them. But I tell you what, Bliss now seems to have lost a couple of car lengths to Michener. Michener seems to have
maybe he's waiting for those 2 guys to take each other out the way they've been.
Well, this might happen right here as we see him sliding sideways right up in front of him. Dryden comes back on the bottom, see if he can get back running. No way, not this time.
But in that kind of competition, both those guys are abusing their right rear tire. We still have, what, about 18 laps to go.
Well, that's exactly what Mike Bliss is hoping. If they slide job each other often enough, their tires will go away, and then it'll leave him sitting there with a good tire for the last 10 laps and go by both of them. I think that's his pretty much what he's thinking right now, because Dryden's not going to sit there and wait. He's already given a couple slide jobs.
Oh, they're right to the wall, and he goes by one. Is he going to get the second one? And that was Dryden who brushed the wall coming down the front straightaway. Immediately, Bliss goes by, and I think Bliss may have the faster car right now. There he goes. There he goes. Bliss in the Steve Lewis Performance Racing Beast with the Gertie power plant is out in front. He can cruise now because he has, what, 16 laps to go. He's already won a midget race a couple of weeks ago in this car. He's won 6 sprint car features this season. His mom and dad are here. I've not seen his wife, Sue. He comes from Milwaukee, Oregon, and he can pick up an additional 10,000.
What set that whole thing up was when Danny Dryden and Michener touched bumpers going down the main straightaway. They both got in the fence. They both had to get out of the throttle. Oh, look at Dryden there. He gets way sideways coming off the corner. I think he's used that right rear tire up. Paige Jones goes around him. Tony Stewart goes around him. But look at Michener. He's not giving up easy. He's hanging on about 4 or 5 car lengths back.
Well, this race pays $4,000 to win. That's a good purse anyway. There is Mel. Yellow flag is out. A yellow flag and Dryden. Dryden in the wall. We saw him very loose the last lap around. He's in the wall right there in the white 3 car as we were taking a shot at Mel Kenyon, the 61-year-old veteran. And there is a look at Dryden. He is okay, but once again, we're under yellow. This could be the biggest paycheck ever in midget racing history, $14,000. If Bliss can hang on, $4,000 for winning the Mel Kenyon Classic and $10,000 in wins challenge bonus money.
$14,000 payday, not too bad.
They say that's the biggest in what, the 67-year history of...
I think it's the biggest in any midget. $10,000 had been the biggest I'd ever heard of in midget racing until last year when Kenny Irwin took away the $12,000 right here at Raceway Park. And I think tonight, as Mike Bliss heads on down towards the last 3 or 4 laps of this race, this could set the new record, and he certainly looks like he's got it well in hand right now.
3 laps to go. 3 laps to go. And once again, we check out that battle between Paige Jones in the white 91 car and the black 11 car of Jimmy Kite. And Kite has really, oh, look at this move. And he makes the pass, moves up to 4th position.
Nice job by Jimmy Kite. He really did a nice job. He just drove in there, slid up in front of him, and took away the racetrack. Look, all the kids learning fast, let me tell you.
I'll tell you what, he's going to be a guy to reckon with in seasons to come in USAC competition. The white flag will be coming out the next time by. There is the white flag, and 1 lap to go for the biggest payday in midget racing history for the Hammer. The guy from Milwaukee, Oregon, Mike Bliss. I know his parents are here. I certainly hope that his wife, Sue, is here in person to watch it. What a comeback for the Steve Lewis crew. Bob East, the crew guys, put the car back together after an early crash. And there it is. He takes it. Hey, he didn't win the one I predicted he'd win earlier, but he won the big one.
Boy, he sure did. He did a heck of a job. You got to give that crew a lot of credit. They really got the race car working well.
Dave, quickly down to you.
And so the biggest paycheck of all time awaits Mike Bliss as he wins our final Thursday Thunder feature here, and he has made a tremendous number of fans among those Thunderheads. Mike Bliss wins it from Andy Michener, and that will tighten up the point battle as Tony Stewart, the leader, comes home 3rd. Jimmy Kite, great young sensation, 18 years old, a 4th place ride as he makes the late pass on Paige Jones.